Today on the Topping Show, Bud Light releases a ridiculous ad on Twitter and fails epically. NHL to cancel Pride jerseys next year. Hunter Biden gets a plea deal with no jail time. You have the U.S. Navy knowing that the submarine was sunk days before actually telling the public. Disney fires their chief diversity officer. Target pushing for next day delivery. SpaceX now valued at $150 billion. Mazda going to bring back the rotary engine. Ford is prepping for major layoffs, and Honda recalls over 1 million vehicles. All that and much, much more on The Topping Show. Thank you for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder released twice today. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, need a little assistance, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Now, going on to the culture part of the podcast, you have Disney firing their chief diversity officer, Latondra Newton. Now, she's been with the position since 2017, and she also came formerly from one of the most successful automotive companies on the planet, Toyota. So she has a successful track record of that certain position, and she started working with Disney back in 2017. Now, interestingly enough, she's working with multiple departments. So with a lot of these companies, I think we feel like on LinkedIn, the role isn't only for recruiting, but that's the big initiative you usually see when you talk to Fortune 500 companies and larger businesses is they have separate divisions or separate category of hiring managers to focus on the diversity, equity, inclusion, the DEI of the company. Now, I know equity is perhaps the most controversial since equality is beautiful. Equity is, by its very definition, I don't think it can't be fair because you're treating people differently based on factors they can't control. So that's, in my opinion, that's one of the most biggest controversial parts of that. Now, she joined in 2017, and from all reports, she was working not only with the hiring department, she's also working with different parts of the company, including production studios, which may have been why you see more and more of their movies and their films having more and more diverse leads, as well as they/them pronoun diversity. I don't know if that's a separate theme or topic. It's part of that group, but that's why you're seeing more of that in their forerunners or their leads of the movies. Now, she's claiming that she wants to, quote, that she, quote, decided to leave Walt Disney Company to pursue other endeavors, unquote. Which I try not to laugh. I think you saw me laugh a little bit. I mean, there's some saying that she's going to go join a board and focus on a company she owns, which with her track record, she probably will get a board position. That's a great position to ever get in if you ever have the opportunity. You work with the company, make sure the CEO has what he needs to succeed, you give him little tips and advice, and usually have a conference, you meet quarterly. It's more of a passive role where you just kind of give input on how the company should go, very much less, day-to-day input. And with her track record of working at two largest, most successful companies, she probably will get one of those roles. But in the interim, you have Latondra's previous direct reports will report to Julie Mergers, which is such a lost opportunity. She should be working in the acquisitions department to merge companies, but I digress. She is currently the SVP or Senior Vice President of Talent Acquisition. She'll also run the DEI operations in the interim. And a lot of folks are starting to speculate why this is happening and the timing of it. Now, the timing is one of those instances where their past few movies have flopped, and many speculate that one of the reasons these movies are flopping is because of the controversial casting that they've done. In particular, you look at Buzz Lightyear, which the company actually, for spite, inserted I forget what we call it, an LGBTQ, a kiss with, I think it was two ladies or two guys. It was a kiss, although, personally, what I found a little, what's a nice way of saying it, disgusting, is that they were two-faced about it. They didn't do that in Saudi Arabia. So Disney was fine making the profit selling the movie without that kiss in Saudi Arabia, but they inserted it in the production in the United States. So to me, that's one of the things where I don't know how authentic they really are, or I question their authenticity and their stance on a lot of these issues or a lot of these ideals, because they're intentionally self-censoring their movies to maximize profits in other countries that do not tolerate those behaviors or embrace those behaviors. So that's why I'm always skeptical if they really believed beyond a reasonable doubt that that's what the company stands for, that's what they want to have in their production, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company. They should have the balls or the galls or whatever you want to say it, the stones, the temerity. Tell Saudi Arabia, no, we are not going to release the movie in your country unless we release the original content of it. Now, it was partially due also with the controversy of Florida versus Disney, where they're suing each other. So they took it out, and then they actually said for spite, just around DeSantis, they put it back in. Well, so again, I'm also wondering, like, are you doing it for spite because you really believe in it? So, and that's just that one movie. That was Lightyear. You also have Little Mermaid, where they intentionally swapped the main actress's role from the original one was Caucasian. Now the newer one is African American. Although oddly enough, it was still orange or red hair. I don't watch these things. I've seen previews, but they also butchered the music in the movie, changed the music. They even changed the themes of the movie so that they removed a lot of the morals in the movie. Where I believe one in which they were going to have an issue where I forget what you call the husband of the movie, the prince. He saved the day in the original Mermaid, so that the king, who didn't approve of the fish-human relationship or whatever, he would see the human save the day, and the moral was, oh, not all humans are bad, tolerance. So the original movie had a good message in and of itself, but then they changed it so that now Ariel, she's just the queen bee, or I guess queen fish. There might be a metaphor there somewhere, deep down under the sea, pun moderately intended. Now she's the hero the whole time. So they're changing many things in these films, and a lot of the traditionalists or the people who grew up enjoying these films, they're not appreciating that. And then you also had Elemento, another movie that they debuted that had a they them pronoun as the main person of the movie. I don't know what you call I don't know. They're all cartoons. It's an anime thing, but that is another movie where they will not break even. They're going to lose money. Again, most film analysts will tell you you make a box office, or 70% of your total box office in the first 1 or 2 weeks, and these movies aren't even hitting the budget. And again, on the top of the budget for the movie, you have to pay for the advertising, which usually about 2x in kind of the traditional film industry. So needless to say, there's a lot of things going downhill at Disney. I don't suspect they're going to remove the rule entirely. They might emphasize it a little less going forward, try to appease the shareholders a little bit, they need to start having some movies that really knock it out of the park, because again, they have a big bank vault of intellectual property and cash, so they're not going to go out of business tomorrow. But I mean, the past 2 years, 50% of their stock gone. Just all that stock evaluation mysteriously disappeared. And again, you're a publicly traded company. You want their stock to grow as high as possible, so eventually you can get a great return on investment. You sell all your stock, yada, yada, yada. So I suspect maybe they'll try to get a couple more movies that really knock it out of the park and perhaps focus less on political initiatives. But time shall tell. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Cannot thank you enough. I really appreciate it if you take the time to like, subscribe, and comment. Each one of those things greatly helps out the channel. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies, heck, tell your friends, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.